so we're going to get started. Welcome everyone to this session on how to bring light to the shadow self. So, like I said before, we're going to be sharing some elements of what shadow work is, what isn't, how to do it in a safe way and in a way that works for you. It's not as complex or as scary as it might sound. And we are going to be doing a healing guided meditation because I think it's through experience and yeah, and just I can be talking here all day about shadow work, but it's through experiencing it and finding some resolution that you're gonna achieve results. So that's gonna be a big part of the session. So have pen and paper handy. That's going to be useful. For the meditation, make sure you're in a comfortable space where you're not going to be disturbed so you can make the most of it. If you're listening on the go, this is being recorded, so you will have access to that later. And yeah, grab a cup of tea, anything that makes you feel comfortable and cozy. If it's getting colder and colder where you are, like here in the UK, I'm bringing out all my big guns, the turtlenecks and the thick jumpers. So yeah, welcome Nina from Idaho. Lovely, the other side of the Atlantic. Welcome everyone. Quite a few people here already. So first of all, what is shadow work? What is our shadow self? What is this thing about that people keep talking about, doing the shadow work and facing the shadow parts of ourselves? When you say it like that, it sounds scary already, doesn't it? I think I can't remember the first time I heard about it, but it sounded like something very complicated and mysterious and yeah, something really scary. It's like going to one of these basements that have no light, or the light is kind of like going on and off and you can't see anything and it's full of spider webs. And in a sense, there is an element of that. There is an element of deep self exploration, but it doesn't need to be scary. It doesn't need to be complicated. So I want to talk about some myths about shadow work that might make it sound really difficult and scary when it is not. Actually, if you have come to some of my previous sessions before, and you have talked and you have heard me talk about our old stories and the power of the subconscious mind and different parts of ourselves, it's kind of a very similar, very similar idea. Shadow work is kind of like a fancy word for that type of work with a few caveats, but that's the idea. So our shadow self, or the shadow parts of ourselves, are all those old stories, negative thoughts, experiences that we haven't healed, that we haven't resolved, the parts of ourselves that we don't like. When we talk about shadow work, there is a big element of things that we are not proud of, that we try to suppress, that we don't want to look that because it's ugly, because it's not pleasant. So very often when we talk about shadow work, the reason why it's called shadow work, it's because we are not aware of it. It's because we haven't realize that it's there. We might have a feeling that there is something, that there is a part of ourselves that we need to explore, but it's those parts of ourselves that we don't want to look at because we're either not proud of, or we're going to feel embarrassed of, or we are scared to face because we know that might take us to a deep rabbit hole. And so yeah, so it can be scary because shadow work, it's a synonym of unknown, right? Not being aware of it, the unknown. And the unknown is always scary because we are human beings, and human beings, we like our comfort, we like to be safe. That's our survival instinct. We all have that element inside us. There's nothing wrong with that. But instinctively, we resist change. Anything that is unknown, anything that is uncertain, anything that we don't have under control can create that resistance and that fear of going there. So shadow work, what it is very simple. Is bringing light, and when I say light, I mean awareness, bringing light to those parts of ourselves that maybe we don't want to face, we don't want to recognize, we don't want to deal with, and finding resolution, finding healing for those parts of ourselves that sometimes feel like ghosts, right? Like lingering, like we don't know where they're coming from, we don't know what to expect, we don't know what's going to happen if we open that Pandora box. So it's about bringing light. It's like when we were talking about that basement and going down into that scary basement, and this happens a lot in the movies, right? In the scary movies. Hi, Elena, welcome to the session. So if you see one of the horror movies or scary movies, I don't watch them because I'm very sensitive to them. But that idea of that main character going down those steps, making a really creepy noise, spider webs, very dark, that's fucking scary, isn't it? Now, what will happen if that person, before going into that basement full of spider webs and old boxes and God knows what in there, turn on the light? It wouldn't be so scary. It wouldn't be so scary because then you would see what's in there. So that's what shadow work is about. It's going into that basement of ours and turning on the light. Instead of going blind and listen to all those creepy noises and guessing what's going to be there, is there going to be a ghost? Is there going to be a psychopath waiting for me here? If you turn on the light and you see what is there, then it's not scary. And then you can do the clearing. Then you can, whoop, so many spider webs to clear. All right, okay, we need to clean this up. Oh my God, so many old boxes here with so much crap in them that we need to throw away, that we need to clear because it's taking up space. This is no longer serving me. Old stuff. We need to throw it away. What you might find is that when you go deep into the basement and you turn on the light and you start clearing out what you no longer need, is that you find lots of treasures. By doing the shadow work, so by turning on the light and by bringing that resolution and by healing and clearing what is no longer needed, eventually you see some boxes that have wonderful treasures in them. Something you had forgotten. Oh my God, this book from when I was a kid. Oh my God, this bicycle, or oh my God, this old clothes. I don't know, whatever that is. So that basement is the perfect metaphor to what shadow work is. Now, the key thing for me when we talk about shadow, if I think about shadow work, what I think about is what we are not aware of, what is in the dark. That's what's still in the darkness and we can't see. So we know, we perceive that there's something in there. If you go to that basement and the light is off, you might feel that there are boxes, that there are things around, but you're not quite aware of that. You know you need to clear that, but you're not sure where to start. You don't know what it is. You don't know why it was there in the first place, right? So what we're going to focus on today's session is on bringing awareness to those parts of ourselves that maybe we're a bit reluctant to face or to or not because we don't want to, but sometimes it takes a bit of time to just become aware of them. And you see them in other people, and we project some things onto other people, but it's very difficult to see them in ourselves, right? So that's what we're going to focus on today, on bringing awareness to those different parts of ourselves. That's why this session is going to be a bit different. If you have come to other sessions before, it's going to be very different in that sense. But of course, in the healing meditation, that's going to bring a lot of light, and that's going to be a way to talk to the subconscious mind. If you've come to some of my talks before, you always hear me talking about the power of the subconscious mind and how those core beliefs and old stories and parts of ourselves are under the surface, like the iceberg, the chunk under the water, and how that runs the show. So we're going to do that healing meditation to help you with that, because through talking and thinking about it from the conscious mind, from the type of the iceberg, from the tip of the iceberg, you can't see what's underneath. From the conscious mind, you can't see what's there. You need to jump into the water, put the goggles on, wetsuit on, and then start exploring what's in there. So from the conscious mind, that's why sometimes some forms of traditional talking therapy or coaching might help you gain awareness and to reflect on your patterns or on how your life is going, but they don't achieve that resolution because they stay there in at the conscious level, where all the magic and all the transformation happens within the subconscious mind. So I have some questions for you for self-reflection to start bringing some of those shadow parts of ourselves into the surface, to start bringing them to the light, to start turning on the light, so at least we can see what we are dealing with and what to expect. So the first question I'm going to ask you to reflect on, and please, if you have pen and paper handy, feel free to write down. You can also close your eyes and just see what comes to your awareness. But please trust your instinct and trust whatever comes to your awareness first. Don't think if that makes sense. Don't think if it's polite to say that or not. Just whatever comes to your awareness first. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what triggers me the most? And that could be other people's behaviors, that could be a person in your life, that could be a certain situation, that could be something you see on TV, on social media. What triggers you the most? What gives you a really strong emotional reaction? Okay. You can write on this question and reflect on it longer, but for the sake of keeping the session not too long today, I'm going to move on quite fast, but you have this to reflect on later when you have a bit more time, or maybe you're in a quieter space and have more time to just sit and meditate on it. And another question I have for you today is, what annoys me from others? And one more prompt for you. Finish the sentence again with whatever comes to your mind first. Don't think if it's right or wrong, if it makes sense or if it doesn't. Whatever comes to your mind first. I can't stand people who fill in the blank. Wonderful. So now we have an idea of something that really triggers you, that you don't like in others, that annoys you from others, something that you can't stand, that you can't tolerate. Now, this question is I was gonna say hurt. I'm not sure if hurt is the word. It's gonna sting, at least. The question is, do I have any of those elements within me? That I see in others that really annoys me, that I can't stand, that really triggers me. Do I have anything in me? Any of those elements in me? Do I see any of that in me? The answer might be no, by the way. We're just exploring, no expectations. Great. So again, you can bring these questions to another time where you have more time to reflect on that. Now, I know this question is really, really tricky to answer, and it might be triggering you already. It's triggered me so many times. just to think about the question itself, it can be triggering. But this is a very important part of shadow work, and that's how I would describe the uniqueness of shadow work. Very often we know what we need to work on, we know that something is not working, and we start to become aware of certain patterns, certain beliefs, certain stories, experiences we need to heal, we need to resolve, that are not serving us, that baggage that we have. And very often that's based on something that someone has done to us. And very often that's something that has been with us for a long time. And then we start doing a bit of more subconscious mind work or deeper inner work, and you find even deeper beliefs. You might find different thoughts, different beliefs, different parts of yourself. Now, for me, the most difficult part is to identify the parts of ourselves that we don't like, that we are not proud of, that we repress, that we don't want to give space to. And very often, the way to become aware of those parts of ourselves is because we don't want to face them, because we don't like them. The way they come out is that we project them onto others. So sometimes when you might see something you don't like in someone else, but the reason why you don't like it, or because the reason why it triggers you so much, is because there is an element of that within you. It's because you're seeing that reflected. I know this is a hard one to swallow. I know. It took me quite a bit of time to breathe and meditate on it, because I was thinking, right, so you're telling me that these people that I really despise, or these, not the people, but this behavior that I really despise, or these traits or these qualities that I can't stand, that I hate, I have them in me. Now, I'm not saying that if you're thinking, for example, I can't stand people who torture children. I'm not saying that that's what you like doing, or that's what you enjoy doing. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm looking at here is really strong emotional reaction. So we're talking here like being really triggered, having a very strong emotional response, because there's many things that there are many behaviors, of course, that I don't like. I don't like when people cheat. I don't like when people lie. I don't like when people kill. I don't like when people hurt others. Does it mean that I am all of that? No, of course not. Well, I will need to look a bit deeper to see if there's any other shallow elements that I haven't found. No, it doesn't mean that I am all of that, or that I have those behaviors. But sometimes when there is someone, and especially you can think about someone in the family, or a colleague, or a neighbor, or something like that. Sometimes I have found a behavior that really triggered a strong emotional reaction in me. Then when I have asked myself, right, okay, why is this triggering me? so much? What is there inside me? And it might be that there is a part of yourself that also sometimes takes on that role or that behavior. It could be that you have experienced something similar. It's not necessarily that you also do the same, right? This is not about feeling bad or feeling guilty, or no, it could be something that maybe someone that reminds you of someone else in the family or from the past. Maybe it's a previous experience that is being that comes to the surface. But the projection, when we project, so when we see in others something that really triggers us, sometimes it can be because there is an element of that in us that we haven't recognized yet, or we haven't embraced yet. And the way they show up, because they're there, is that we project it onto other people instead of becoming aware of it. And I know this can be a bit difficult to digest. For me, it was definitely. I don't know if you had come across this idea before, but for me, it was difficult to digest. But at the end, because I thought, how can someone that triggers me so much, how can there be something in me that resonates with it, or that I need to heal, or that I need to work on with when it's the other person behaving badly, or doing something that is not right. But the truth is that when there is a strong trigger or a strong emotional reaction, it doesn't mean that what they're doing is right. It can still be wrong. It's not about justifying it or anything like that. But it is about understanding why it's triggering us so much, because there are lots of despicable behaviors in the world, a lot of bad things that people do, but not all are going to trigger you, or all the 76 people we have here so far, and me, and other people, and my friends, and your friends, and your friends, and your family. They're going to trigger different things in us, and that's giving us a clue. So for a long time, I saw the idea of being triggered as something that was annoying and frustrating, and there was someone else's fault, and it was someone else's responsibility. And eventually I realized that no, if there is a very strong emotional reaction, there is something within us that needs to be resolved. It doesn't mean that you're bad. It doesn't mean that that you have that behavior. No, it doesn't mean that. It means that there is something within us that is being triggered. And now I see triggers. When I get triggered about something, as annoying as it is, because it's still annoying, I see it as an opportunity or a clue as to where I have to go next to my healing. Noni, you nailed it. Triggers are spotlights. Absolutely. It's like a light in the car that is telling you you're running out of fuel, the brakes are not working, the seatbelt is not on, right? That's what a trigger is, a way to tell you, hey, there's something that needs taken care of here. As annoying as it is, that emotional reaction, and as annoying some people can be, it's an invitation to go down to that basement and see what's in there and turn on the light. It's literally an invitation to turn on the light and to bring light to those shadow parts of ourselves, those parts of ourselves that we are not aware of. And sometimes even by doing subconscious mind work, they're still a bit tricky to find because they resist, they hide. And triggers are a really good way to track that, and really good clues as to what to heal next. Before we move on to the healing meditation, because I want you to experience this rather than me I can repeat the concept again and again and give you more examples, but that's not going to help you achieve any resolution. So that's what we're going to do the meditation for. But before we move into that, I also want to share another key idea, which is forgiveness. And I think I don't talk enough about forgiveness in my sessions, and it's so important. Without forgiveness, there is no complete healing. There is no healing. There is no proper resolution without forgiveness. It doesn't happen. And when it comes to shadow work, because we're bringing like the deepest, darkest, more complex parts of ourselves to the surface. Bodily saying, can one use EFT to work with shadows? Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna explain how in a second. Yeah, because we're bringing those deepest part of ourselves. It's very difficult to blame ourselves for something, or to blame someone else for what they've done to us. And it's only when we forgive, whether that's ourselves or others. Actually, sometimes forgiving ourselves can be even more difficult than forgiving others. Forgiving someone who has hurt us can be very difficult, but sometimes we can put even more blame on ourselves. And I hear this a lot with, for example, people have experienced abuse, and eventually they forgive the abuser because they understand that they were dealing with their own issues. Doesn't mean that it was right, of course, what they did, but they come to a state of, right, I can forgive that, I can let go. But there is that element of, but I should have done something, that very often they find even more difficult to forgive. So sometimes forgiving ourselves can be more tricky than forgiving others. And without forgiveness, it doesn't matter how aware we become of the shadow of our shadow self. It doesn't matter how much healing work, how many meditations, how many things we do. Forgiveness is the ultimate state of healing. And when it comes to shadow work, very often something that will come up is that either someone has hurt us, or we've done something that we're not proud of, that we don't like, that we kind of like self-punish. So forgiving both others and ourselves, it's really key. Hi Emily from Utah. Welcome to the session. Thank you for joining. Bodily, in terms of EFT, yeah. So the thing about shadow work is that it's more about understanding, like I said, those parts of ourselves that we are not proud of, that we are struggling to face or to embrace. But once we start getting a grasp on what that is about, then tap it away. And you can start, for example, if something is really triggering you, you can start saying, even though this person is really triggering me, I love and accept myself anyway. I'm not going to go into detail into how to do tapping, because I know some of you know how to do it and use it regularly. And if it's the first time you hear about it, I have lots of videos that I can share with you if you want to learn more. But yeah, even though this person is really triggering me, even though this behavior really triggers me, even though this situation, I love and accept myself anyway. And then, and you continue and start describing what triggers me. Is the way this person behaves. Okay. And how does she behave, or how does he behave? Okay, this way. Okay, right. Okay. Do I see any of that on me? Okay, so this person is really triggering me because she's a victim, but sometimes I can be a bit of a victim. All right, okay. So even though I'm a victim sometimes, and see what happens, because you know that when you start tapping, what happens is that the energy will shift and different things will come up. So just continue to track that. And of course, if there are any beliefs that come up, you can check that. You can do that with EFT. It might take you to a past memory that, again, you can clear. Even though, I don't know, I was bullied at school, even though my mom neglected me, something might be coming up. So whatever comes up, you can use tapping to reduce the emotional intensity, to start clearing all those blocks, and then you can do even deeper work with that. A prey behavior triggers predator behavior. Absolutely. There is no victim without a rescuer or a persecutor. You need, a rescuer who wants to rescue everyone needs a victim for that. You can't rescue someone who's in their power. You can't. You need a victim for that. And a victim, to be a victim, needs either a predator or a persecutor or a rescue. That's what they're asking for, to confirm the beliefs, the pattern, the behavior. So there's always like a hook there in that dynamic. Absolutely. I had a lot of difficulty to forgive someone who was a bully. Yeah, I know. Forgiveness is really, 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 it can be really, really difficult. It can be really difficult. Very often because we have the idea that they don't deserve it. Yeah, but what they did is wrong and they don't deserve to be forgiven. And again, this was one of the ideas that took me a lot of time to digest and to understand. And the thing is that, it's not about them. It's not about the bully deserving to be forgiven. Let's leave that to divine justice, to upstairs. Those are the ones who can judge. And judgment is not something for me to do. I cannot like the behavior, of course. You can take even legal action if it's necessary. So it's not about forgiving is not about justifying the behavior or saying, yeah, okay, well done, you got away with it. No. But the thing is that if there is no forgiveness, it means that we still hold some form of resentment or bitterness or there's still an emotional reaction or an emotional attachment to it. And that is only hurting you, not the abuser, not the bully, not the predator, not the persecutor. If I'm holding, and this took me a lot of time to understand, if I'm holding resentment, what am I achieving? And I kept coming back to the same argument, but they don't deserve it. They don't deserve my love. They don't deserve my kindness. They don't deserve to be forgiveness, but they've done something wrong. But it's not about what they deserve. It's about what you deserve. It's about what I deserve. And we deserve to forgive them, because that doesn't mean that they got away with what they did, because there is a divine law called karma that no one gets away with hurting someone or with doing something bad. No one gets away with it. But that's for divine justice or for the universe to take care of. But if you hold that resentment, you're hurting yourself. And you don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. So by forgiving, actually, they're going to still get the divine justice. One day or another, in one way or another, in this lifetime or another. But forgiving is about what you deserve. It's about freeing yourself from that attachment, from that emotional reaction. And when I started to understand that, oh my God, it was so liberating. It was like, taking such a heavy weight off my shoulders. It's like, you've probably heard this quote. It goes something like, having resentment or having anger is like it's like you taking the poison and expecting the other person to die, like in that way. So the bitterness, the anger, the resentment, that's poison. That's poison in the body. It doesn't hurt the other person. It hurts you. So forgiveness is not about what perpetrators deserve. It's about what you deserve. It's about freeing yourself from that attachment or from that emotional reaction. Hello, Jane, my love. So many insights here. I was bullied because I didn't fight back, as I was told not to lower myself. I think they thought I was prey, but I was actually sparing them. Eventually, they backed away for good. When I showed them that I wasn't weak, I was bored of them. Don't know how to forgive my friend of 30 years who is no longer my friend. So yes, a lot of insights here. So yeah, it does, because sometimes fighting back, is not the solution. Because if someone who hates you, hating someone who hates you, fighting hate with hate, violence with violence, anger with anger, again, it's a poison. You are taking the poison, trying to kill the other or trying to beat the other person, but you are still taking the poison. yeah, don't know how to forgive my friend of 30 years. I mean, there could be a lot of elements in there. It might be worth exploring what happened there, if that triggered something else. Sometimes we can't forgive a friend or a boyfriend because they remind us a lot of something else that happened, or someone in our family. Oh, he was Buddha. Yeah, anger is poisoning yourself and expecting them to die. Yeah, literally. Uh, divine justice, yeah. And I love to forgive is to free yourself. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's about what you deserve. It's about your freedom. It's not about saying, yeah, you bullied me, you abused me, and yeah, well done. No consequences here. No, no. They will have their consequences. Like we all do with our actions. There is no action without consequence. There is no. What you put in, you get back. Lots of interesting laws of the universe. Oh, maybe we should do a session on kind of like uh different laws of the universe, and like Decibalian and things like that, because that's really interesting. Just had the idea. Okay, yeah, maybe for the new year. Okay, I'm going on a tangent now. I just wanted to share the idea of how important forgiving is. Now, it doesn't mean that now because you're aware that you have to forgive someone, it's like, right, okay. No, there is a lot of, that is a process that as long as there is still an emotional trigger, an emotional response, it's going to be very difficult to forgive. So you have to kind of like empty that basket first before you can start thinking about fully and truly forgiving. Because then people will start saying things like, I forgive, but I don't forget. And yeah, that's okay. I can see that, but sometimes we can trick ourselves, thinking that we have forgiven, or because we don't talk about it, or because we don't think about it anymore. But it's something really, really deep. So yeah, a bit of food for thought there. Okay, my loves, make yourself comfortable because we're gonna do a healing meditation now. Today we're gonna do something based on shamanic journey, which I think I hadn't done in a long time. It's just a different type of guided visualization. Again, we're going to try to engage with our subconscious mind and those deeper parts of ourselves. So make yourself comfortable. Wrap up if it's cold where you are. You can sit down, you can lie down, whatever feels better for you. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Actually, I'm going to play a bit of music in the background, although apparently one of my microphones, I don't know if it's this one or the one I used to record, cancels the background music. So in the recording, or here, I can't remember, no one could hear a thing. So, but I think one of the two does. So either here or in the recording, there will be a bit of music. And if you're doing this later, or if you're at home, you can always play some background music of your preference. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes once you find that comfortable position. And let's take a few deep breaths together. Breathing in through the nose, maybe out through the mouth if that feels right. Making each breath a bit deeper and a bit longer. Breathing in deeply into the belly. Relaxing the muscles around the abdominal area, the rib cage, the chest, all those muscles involved in breathing. Very often we tense them up. We can hold a lot of tension, a lot of stress here. So slowly with each breath, allowing them to flow freely, to move freely. Allowing the body to relax more and more and more, dropping the shoulders, letting go of any weight that they might have been carrying. Feet on the floor, feeling grounded. Maybe moving the spine a little bit until you find that sweet spot where you feel aligned. You can have one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, becoming more aware of the breath. You can have them on your lap, facing down or up in more of a receiving mode, whatever feels better for you today. Find that comfortable, find that sweet spot where you can allow each breath to be deeper and longer, and where you can allow yourself to go deep within, to start letting go of any thoughts that are not relevant to this meditation. Bringing the awareness to the present moment, to the here and now. As you continue to breathe deeply and slowly into the abdomen, visualize yourself in a meadow. Imagine you're in a beautiful meadow, green grass, blue sky, the rays of sun caressing your skin, walking barefoot on the grass. Maybe some birds, animals, flowers around you. And as you continue to walk along this meadow, you see a tree in the distance. It's a huge tree, so tall. Its branches touch the sky. Its roots go deep, deep, deep into Mother Earth. You walk towards this tree until you can touch it with your hand. And you find yourself merging with it. You find yourself inside the trunk of the tree, breathing in the beautiful healing energy of the tree of life, this luminous tree. And taking a deep breath, allow yourself to follow the roots of the tree and let them take you down, 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 deep into Mother Earth. We're going to journey to the lower world today. So following the roots of the tree, going through different layers of the soil, different layers of Mother Earth, going down, 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 connecting more and more with the feminine energy of Mother Earth, the healing, nurturing energy, until you reach an underground river. The water is crystal clear, the purest water you've ever seen. You start dipping your feet into the water, maybe immersing yourself fully in the water, maybe using your hands to wash your face, your hair, allowing that healing water to start healing, to start releasing, to start clearing what is no longer serving you. Let the current take it away from you. And as you connect more and more with the water, allow yourself to float. And you notice that the current is slowly taking you further down into Mother Earth. And you just relax and surrender to the current of this river, enjoying the ride, enjoying the journey, being in the present moment, going with the flow. And you see yourself landing in a beautiful garden. You come out of the water, stepping into the shore and into this beautiful garden, which is unique to you. Becoming aware of the flowers, the plants, the trees, the animals, the sounds, the smells. This is your inner garden for healing, for rejuvenation, to repair, to refresh, to recharge. It feels like home here. And in the distance, you see a cave. And you start walking towards this cave. And you see that there is an entrance to it. So you step into the cave, taking a few moments to adjust to the different lights, to the different colors, materials, smells. And in the center of the cave, you see that there is someone waiting for you. You can't fully see who that is yet, if it's someone else, if it's a part of yourself. It's a part of yourself or someone or an element that hadn't revealed itself so far, that had kept herself or himself secret so far. But there is no fear. You know there is nothing to fear. And you see that as this person comes closer and closer to you, there is a spotlight in the center of the cave that brings light to this part of yourself. And you can see much more clearly now. There was nothing to be afraid of. That there was nothing wrong about it. That it had just been hiding because she thought there was no space for her. But now it's full of light, full of awareness. And as you approach her or him, just have a dialogue with this part of yourself. Ask them, what are they here to tell you today? What do they need to share with you? Why they have been hiding all this time? And let them know that you're here for them. That there's always going to be space for them. And you see that there is a light coming from the top of the cave, a torrent of healing energy and unconditional love, coming straight from God, from source, from the divine, healing and bringing more and more light to this part of yourself. Just allow yourself to have a conversation. Ask her or him any questions you might have. If they have any guidance, if there is anything they need to tell you. Just let that communication flow. And if nothing is coming up, just witness that light, that torrent of healing energy and unconditional love heal and bring light to this part of yourself. Beautiful. Just take a few more moments to let that healing energy and unconditional love fill that part of yourself. She might have a lot of wisdom for you now. She might want to come with you. You might want to merge together in a beautiful embrace, like a part of you that now holds wisdom, confidence, power, strength, whatever skills, whatever qualities they have. She might prefer to stay here, receiving more healing. And now it's time to take a deep breath and come out of the cave, back into the garden. And again, becoming aware of the plants, the trees, the flowers, the smells, the sounds, if there are any animals, any elements of nature. See if it feels or if it looks any different now that you have done this inner work. And coming back to that river that took you here. Immersing yourself in the water, allowing yourself to float. And this time let the current take you upstream all the way back to meet the roots of the tree, took you here. And when you get to the shore, you see that there is a new outfit, a new set of clothes waiting for you. Just notice what this outfit is about. What are the colors, the fabrics, the qualities to it. You put this new outfit on. Becoming aware of what it represents. Maybe a new state of being now that you've done this healing, that you have brought light to a shadow part of yourself. And slowly approaching the roots of the tree that took you here, merging with the tree again and letting it take you up, 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 up to different soils of the mother, different layers of the soil, different layers of Mother Earth, until you find yourself back inside the trunk of the tree. And now stepping out into the meadow where we started this beautiful journey. Again, just noticing the grass under your feet, the blue sky, noticing if anything has changed. Maybe the meadow is the same, but you feel different. Maybe the meadow feels or looks different this time. No expectations. Just enjoying the grass under your feet and the rays of sun caressing your skin. Connecting with a deep feeling of gratitude for your courage, for the work you have done today. Thanking yourself for showing up for yourself once more, once again. And slowly, when you're ready, you can start bringing the awareness to the physical body and start making any movements that feel right to the body. Maybe wiggling the toes, the fingers slowly. Maybe taking a deep full body stretch, whatever feels right for you. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and meet me back in the screen and the other beautiful souls gathered here today. I'm going to stop the music now. Taking your time to come back to the present moment. I would definitely recommend, if you have pen and paper handy and if you have followed the journey, to do some journaling, to write down any insights, anything you saw in the cave, anything that happened in the journey that was interesting that you weren't expecting. Maybe just how you felt about it, just how the experience went. Or if you want to continue in this state of relaxation, of course, feel free to do so as well. And if you fell asleep, that's perfectly fine. If that's what the body needed, that's what the body needed. Okay, my loves. I would love to hear from you. Any insights, what happened in that journey? I know when you share your insights, because you're all very wise people here. And when you share your insights and your journey, you inspire other people. So feel free to share. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. We're going to wrap up the session in a minute. I'm going to stay a bit longer in case there are any questions or anything, or anyone would like to share anything. And I would like to do a bit of a short recap for the people who joined the session halfway through. Thank you, Matt, for joining. Well, the first thing I want to say to every one of you is that this work is not easy. This is not for everyone. This is not for everyone. This takes courage, and especially shadow work and what we've discussed today, that takes courage. So give yourself some credit, celebrate it. Thank you, Jazz. Thank you for joining. Oh, love to forgive myself. That's amazing, Shelley. Yeah. Yeah. Are you going to share this session recording under your profile? I don't know if it will be here on Inside Timer, because I might need to edit it, and sometimes if there is yeah, they don't accept it, but it will definitely be on my YouTube channel. So yeah, so if you, under my name, Verónica Moreno, if you look me up, it will definitely be the video will be available. Sophia gave the being a book of truths. I love that. I love that. Emily saying this was a beautiful experience. Thank you for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, so a few ideas for the people who joined halfway through the session when it comes to shadow work. Like you saw, it doesn't need to be scary. It doesn't need to be complicated. It's just about bringing light. It's just about bringing awareness to those parts of ourselves that we don't like, that we are not proud of, that we are embarrassed of, that we repress, that we suppress. It's literally what it is. And I know it can be scary, because that's like going into that dark, scary, creepy basement. But if you turn on the light and if you start getting that awareness, it doesn't need to be scary at all. Then the idea of what triggers us the most, it's a clue, it's an invitation to heal. Don't see it as something annoying, but rather as an invitation and a sign that there is something that is ready to be healed. It's like a light in the car that is telling you, give me more fuel. So listen to that rather than trying to ignore it or repress it. And yeah, the idea of forgiveness for deep and complete healing and resolution, super important. If you do this journey, again, you will probably find a different part of yourself. So feel free to do it as many times as you like. Journaling, a great tool as well. So yeah. Oh, I heard the being say that it's deep feminine healing. I love that. When I came out of the tree, it looked quite dark. I sent a blast of light and kept very calm. Yeah. Yeah. This is all what it's about. Sending light, healing energy, transmuting. If there is anything dark, darkness cannot exist without, if there is light. So yeah. And be easy on yourself. Well, yeah. Yeah. self-compassion, self-love, so key to healing as well. Thank you, Sophia, for sharing so many interesting insights about your journey. Love to hear that. Okay, guys. So we're going to wrap up the session now. I'll see you next Thursday. So we only have a couple of sessions left before I go away for Christmas. So next week is also going to be, so both are going to be on Thursdays at the same time. Next week is going to be healing lessons from 2024. I did that last year in December. And it was a very popular session. So I'm going to be talking about lessons that I have learned from my own personal journey, from my own personal healing journey. So it's going to be, yeah, very informal session, very personal. Also, things that I have seen by working with many people one-on-one. So yeah, key themes or topics or lessons from this year. Of course, I would love you to share yours. So if you join live, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear that. But yeah, that one is going to be a very informal session. As the idea is that if you're facing any particular challenges, that you bring that here as well, so I can give you a bit of specific feedback or point you to specific resources. I have loads. So that's going to be next week. And then the following week, which is going to be the last one, that's going to be about healing 2024. So we're going to do different healing techniques. There will definitely be a long guided healing meditation like this one. So that's what's coming next. Feel free to follow me on Inside Timer so you can be notified of next events, new tracks, new meditations. I have loads in my profile that you can explore already, courses as well here on Inside Timer. And if anyone resonates with the work I do, some of you know that I'm going to be on maternity leave starting early March next year. So I'm not offering my one-on-one long coach in the healing coaching program that I used to offer anymore because I don't have time. I don't have 3 months left, well, pretty much, but I will need to wrap up a bit earlier. But I'm still offering some one-off sessions and a shorter program, a 6-week intensive. So if anyone is interested in that, please feel free to check out my profile, connect with me, have a look at all the info. Shelley, thank you. Blessings to the group for collective meditation. Yeah, definitely. And the way the thing about connecting here together and doing it together makes it so much more powerful. Oh, I think in a couple of Thursdays, so for the healing 2024, we're going to do a bit of a fire ceremony. I think it's in order to do that, to set intentions, to release what we don't want to carry to 2025 from this year. Thank you, Jazz, Elena, Janice, all of you, beautiful people. Shine. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Emma. I really love this session. Thank you so much. Yeah, best of luck in the motherhood journey. Yeah, that's going to be a tricky one, so I'm going to need it. Okay, my loves, thank you, every one of you, for being here, for your support, your reviews, your feedback, your donations, all very welcome and much appreciated. Thank you for your messages. I really love hearing from you. So yeah, like I say, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a message through the platform. I'll be very happy to point you to specific resources, and I always love to hear from you. Thank you, Bodil and Jay. Okay, my loves, thank you, all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next week. Sending much love and light to everyone. Bye-bye.